G'day, I'm Lorne from Darche, and today I'm going to show you our new Highland hardshell rooftop tent. This one's nice and lightweight, coming in at 72 kilos. Everything that you need to get this tent installed on your vehicle is included in the box. They're all packed inside the tent. In there you'll find a comprehensive set of instructions and all the parts you need to get your tent ready to fit. We do suggest that it's a good idea to speak to your local four-wheel drive fitter if you have any concerns about doing this work yourself. Now let's go and have a look at what you're going to need to do just to get this tent ready to go on your vehicle. The first thing that we're going to need to do here is install the ladder brackets on the front of the tent. To install these, you've simply just got a square nut which inserts into this T-channel slot along the front of the tent. You're then just bolting down your ladder brackets on top with an Allen bolt. Then we've got to fit the case handles on the top of the tent. So it's the same deal, it's just a square nut that slides in. You will find that you will need to remove the top half of one of the case latches just to give you room to slot those nuts in before you begin, but from there it's the same. You're just bolting down an Allen bolt on top to hold it all in place. After those are in place, you're going to install your window stay bracket mounts on the front and on the sides of the tent. The front ones install on the bottom half of the case here. So again, it's the same thing, square nut into the channel and you're just Allen bolting that down on the top. And then for the top ones, those are mounted up on the side there at the top of the case, and it works exactly the same way as the ones on the front. There are measurements included in the instructions as to exactly where those need to be placed. It's not millimetre crucial, but you want to get them roughly in the right spot. Then you've got a nice big storage pocket grid on the back of the tent. You need to install some brackets to hang that off. So those brackets are just screwing into pre-drilled mounting holes on the inside of the tent. Screws are included. You just screw in those brackets on there. And then we've got 4 LED strips that run all the way around the inside of the case. Those have the same kind of brackets and pre-drilled holes again, so you're just choosing where you want those exactly to be mounted and screwing them in. So with that out of the way, we're going to run you through some of the setup and the pack down of the tent and some of their features. So to begin with, we need to connect the ladder. Just hang that off your ladder hooks on the side of the tent there. Undo the buckle and extend the ladder fully, just give it a bit of a wiggle to make sure it's all locked in, and then from there you adjust it from the top rung first. Shorten the ladder a little bit there, and we want to have that sitting on about a 75-degree angle. And from there we can just open the case latch on either end of the tent, give the lid a push, and the gas struts will do the work for you and lift it up. Also just going to chuck this little pull down strap out of the way and pull this bungee cord down. That'll just sit in underneath those little window stay brackets there. And then from there, you're going to grab the canopy frame inside the tent, fold that forward. You've got a trigger lock on either end of that. Just release those trigger locks and just push the frame all the way out. Close the trigger locks. And you've got 2 more trigger locks on this ridge pole down the center at the top. Just pull some tension on that and close those locks up as well. And the next step is going to be to get your window stay poles in place. So in this little bag here, we've got 4 window stays. We've got 2 longer ones and 2 shorter ones. The longer ones are going to sit on the front of the tent to support the front part of the fly. So those will just hook into these little window stay brackets on the side there. Just insert the end there, and then fly's blown away. Grab the corner of the fly and just get through the eyelet there. Alright, and then 1 more at each end of the tent. So your short ones are going to go in at the very top of the case, right up here, just into there. And again, just hook into the eyelet on the edge of the fly like that. You do also get with this tent a couple little shoe bags, which are very handy. You can take your muddy boots off and drop them in the bag as you climb into the tent. So those just slot into the skirt next to the ladder there. Stick one of those on each side. And just give you a nice little pouch to store any dirty or smelly stuff outside the tent. And we'll jump in and I'll run you through the internal features. Okay, so now that we're all set up, we can run you through some of the internal features of the tent. So you've got, for a start, plenty of internal storage in here. You've got a nice storage grid at the back there. There's a clear pouch in the front of that, which is perfect for sticking your tablet in if you feel like a bit of a glamper and you want to watch some TV in your tent there. We've got internal LED strips all the way around the top of the case. So those just all terminate in this USB connection here. We typically prefer to just run those off a battery pack, but you can basically plug that into whatever you want. If we switch that on there, Your lights are all controlled from this point here. When you set the lights up in the tent, you can actually move this to any corner of the tent. It's your choice where this sits, so whatever suits you best for your setup. But that just switches on with the touch of a button there. The lights are multicoloured, so you can cycle through your orange and white there. You've got straight white, and you've got orange, just orange. That also is dimmable, and that's all just controlled from that little unit there. So you can switch those ones off. Internal storage pockets around the side as well. Great place to put stuff like your little window stay bag in there. You've got massive windows at each end of the tent. Those are obviously covered in a very fine insect mesh, so no problem leaving those open in most conditions. You've got nice fly coverage over the top of the window as well. This tent is built on a honeycomb aluminium base. You've got an insulated case, you can see the insulation on the top there. I'm sitting here on a nice 50mm memory foam mattress, and underneath that we've also got an anti-condensation mat. In the top of the tent there is a huge sky window. It takes up almost the entire roof of the tent, so you can let in plenty of light. The fly can actually be rolled back and secured at the top of the case if you like, to leave the top completely open for ventilation if you're not expecting any rain. Along the top of the case here you've also got 4 little hooks for hanging things, like for example lights, or it's a perfect place to hang your Darchi 2-in-1 fan, just to aid with the condensation a bit inside the tent. You've also got, speaking of condensation, some little vents on the front and back of the case which will aid with any condensation built up when the tent's closed. And from there we will move on to showing you how to pack it up. And to pack up the tent, we're going to start by removing the window stays. Just pull that out of the top of the fly. Just pull it out of the bracket there. And then it's the same thing all the way around with the other 3. Take those 4 poles and just stick them back in their little bag. And those will just live inside the tent. You can chuck those into the back there. Next I'm just going to quickly do up all the fly screen around the tent. It just helps a little bit to hold everything together as you close it up. And we'll roll down the canvas on the sky window at the top as well, just to make sure it's not bunching up anywhere when you close the tent. Alright, now we're going to move on to just releasing all the trigger locks all the way around. So we'll start with the 2 on the top on this ridge pole. Just release both of those. Once those are released, you just leave them there. They stay released through the whole pack up. Same thing on either side of this canopy hoop, and that'll drop down. And from there we're just going to fold this canopy hoop down into the tent behind us like that. You want to grab these shoe bags, just slide them back out of the track and chuck those into the tent as well. They can live in there. You will also be able to close this with your sleeping bag or doona on the inside, no problem there. Slimmer pillows will fit as well. And then you're going to lift your bungee cord up, just unhook that from the corners and just lift that as high as you can up against the tent. That'll just help to pull everything in as we close the case. And then we want to grab, you can either grab your pull down strap that's fixed to the top of the case there. If you're tall enough, just grab it and pull the case down. You can do it either way. So we pull that down. Just make sure everything stays inside the case. It is best to just sit this closed just like that. And then we can check at the front and back and just make sure we don't have anything that's going to interrupt the seal. So here we've got a little bit of fly hanging through. If that interrupts that seal while you're driving around, that's going to cause water ingress through that seal. So we just want to make sure that's pushed in, tucked in out of the way. We just grab our case handles, pull down, close the case, and seal these latches at either end. And we just need to disconnect the ladder and collapse it. So when you do this, just make sure you keep your thumbs on the outside or you will squash them between the rungs. Just release the 2 trigger locks on the bottom. And you've got this strap to just keep everything in place. So that you can just store either in the vehicle, it does fit inside the tent. Thanks for watching our video on our new Highland hard shell rooftop tent, and we'll catch you next time.